Hello, what is up guys? You're welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Rod. I'm a second year medical student of the University of Ibadan. And in today's video, I want to talk about 3 different ways to get into medical school. I know that most of the people around me, my following, are majorly people that are aspiring to get into medical school. And I'm privileged to have spoken to quite a number of you, and there are some set of those aspirants that are very particular about getting into medical school. I can relate very much with that because I remember about 4 years ago when I was also writing these exams to get into medical school. I was very particular about medicine. I wanted medicine or medicine. I actually wanted nothing else except medicine, and I can totally relate, which is why I'm making this video. So besides telling you different ways to get into medical school, I'm going to be giving you some very honest advice, and I don't know, it might sound discouraging, it might sound encouraging. It depends on the way you take it, but I'm going to be advising you in the best of your interest. If you think this is something that you find helpful, make sure you watch to the end. Don't forget to subscribe so you will not miss out on any of this kind of content that comes up in the future. If you have medical aspirants so that you feel might appreciate this video, please kindly share with them. That said, let's move into the video. Since about 2 years I've been writing about medical school admission and stuff. I've gotten a lot of students come to my DM, tell me their ordeal. Quite excitingly, I've seen many people gain admission, and as well I've also seen some students try over and over again without gaining admission. Don't get me wrong, there are some people that are genuinely trying hard, but things happen. But there's actually a large percent of people who think they really want to go into medical school but are not actually given the work. And this set of people are who I really want to talk to now. I think getting into medical school, which is hard, is reasonable because staying in medical school actually is hard. It requires a lot of discipline, it requires a lot of hard work and consistency. So, I don't know, just ask yourself this question, that if you can't do the work to get into medical school, how are you going to do the work to stay in medical school? And the reason why I'm saying this is because of some of the students I've seen. They actually want to go into medical school, but they are simply not doing the work. To get into most of the medical school, you need to score above 300, and scoring above 300, it requires a lot of hard work. Except if you are extremely gifted, because to score 300 means you are going to know most of the courses you did all your secondary school, that is SS1, SS2 and SS3, which is not very easy. So this is my point. If you are aspiring to go into medical school, then you should stop wasting your time. You need to do the work. Go and sit down, make a resolution with yourself that you are going to do the work. And if you know you can't do the work, simply opt for something else that you are passionate about instead of wasting your time. And also, I'm not saying trying medical school over and over again you will not eventually get in. I have friends who try to get in. They tried 4 times, 5 times before they eventually got in. But these kind of students, as the year goes by, they are seeing improvement in performance. And if anything is going wrong, they know what exactly went wrong and they work on that the next year. Though things happen, like I said earlier, but they are determined, they are ready to put in the work. But there are some other students who think they really want medicine but they are not putting in the work. I remember when I was aspiring for medical school, one man told me this and I held on to it, even though it is not necessarily true. He said getting into medical school is more difficult than staying in medical school. If you can work hard enough to get into a medical school, especially the competitive one, you will not be lazy to put in the work to stay in medical school. To be honest with you, sometimes, maybe in my first year of medical school, I just feel quite incompetent, and the only motivation I have is just looking back to how I studied very hard for my Jamb, the hard work I put. All these things kind of encourage me that, I got this, I can do this again. Just know that if you are going into medical school, you need to put in the work. The work you are putting in is not in any form waste. It's not waste of your time, it's not waste of your energy, because for the next 6 years of your life, this is the work you are going to be putting in. I'm not trying to discourage you. I believe you get my point. And that's enough of the TED Talk. Now let's go to today's topic, which is 3 different ways to get into medical school. The first way to get into medical school is by using Jamb UTMT. And this is the commonest way. cheapest way, and I can say it is quite the most reliable way to get into medical school. Jamb UTME costs roughly 5,000. It's not very expensive. The way it goes is you're going to write 4 subjects: biology, chemistry, physics, and English. Those are the 4 subjects you're going to write in your Jamb. I'm having in mind that you must have passed your WAEC. So I've actually made a video where I talked about how I moved from scoring 256 in my previous Jamb to scoring, to scoring 323 in the next one I wrote, and that was what got me into medical school. I believe it's going to be helpful, and very soon I'll be making a lot of videos about passing Jamb, about each of those subjects, how to destroy them. I believe that's all to say about UTME. The second way of getting into medical school, which I literally didn't know much about, is using ALevel. So I took a step to ask some of my classmates that got in through ALevel, and I got a lot of things to them. And also I read from those ALevel sites. I will drop links to the articles in the description. You can read much more about it. So let's quickly talk about ALevel. We have the Cambridge ALevel, we have the JUPEB, and we have the Jamb. And how do they work? You're going to get a form for that ALevel program, and then you will be accepted. And the requirement for acceptance is your WAEC. So you have to pass at least credits in those your core subjects. On acceptance, you are going to be doing a year program. They will be teaching you like 3 subjects. For example, if you are going for medicine, you will be taught biology, chemistry, and physics. And at the end of the program, you are going to take an exam. At the end of the exam, you are going to have a point from that, calculated from that exam. And this point is what gets you into school, because the higher your point, the higher your chances of getting into your choice, your school, medical school that you want to go to. Now, one cool thing about this ALevel program is that after that, you do not write Jamb again. If you've written that ALevel exam, you do not need to write any Jamb. You only apply for Jamb direct entry. There are usually 2 forms that come out every year. There's the Jamb UTME and there's the Jamb direct entry. So you apply for the direct entry form. That's what the school uses to admit you. For example, you don't even write post UME. They said the last year they admitted, they didn't write post UME, just the exam. That's one very cool thing. And they skipped 100 level to 200. They started from 200 level. One thing you should also know is that all these ALevel programs, not all schools accept each of them. For example, UI does not accept JUPEB or Jamb, they accept ALevel. So this applies to some other universities too. You should go to Jamb website or JUPEB website, and you will see the schools that participate in the program. So those are the schools you can apply for. So if you are like going to UI, for example, you have to use Cambridge ALevel. Another cool thing I heard about ALevel, I didn't take the program, so I'm just saying this based on the information I got from people that did it, is that ALevel is quite easier to pass than Jamb, provided you are going to put, like, the hard work you cannot just do without. You have to put in the hard work. You can't skip it. There's no way, except if you don't want to come to medical school. You need to use hard work to get in, except if you are extremely gifted. You need hard work to get in, you need hard work to stay in. In fact, you need hard work and discipline to practice as a doctor. So know what you are going for. So they said it's not as difficult, like the way the exam is set is quite, if you can work at the past questions are very easy to follow, and most of those I asked, they said they would recommend it to people compared to Jamb. Now the but of ALevel is the expenses. ALevel programs are usually much more expensive compared to Jamb. For example, the price for Cambridge ALevel, first of all, you have to pay the registration fee, which is about 25,000 at the last time I checked. Then beside from this, you have to pay the school fees, because the school that will be training you, they will get like a tuition fee. You have to pay accommodation fee, then the actual exam fee. Now, when I asked about the estimates, what it took some of my friends that did it, it cost them about 800 to 1 million naira, which is like a whole lot of money. I doubt if I would be able to afford it if that was what I want to use for medical school. So if you can't afford it, then you need to work hard. In fact, not being able to afford it should be your motivation to like blast the next Jamb. But if you can afford it, I think it's worth it. You can actually tell your parents about it and give it a try. And you are putting in a lot of money. That is another motivation for you to not waste the money and you get into medical school 200 level by the next time you are doing it. I believe that's all. If you want me to make any further video on this particular ALevel program, I'm going to do that. If there's any question, please drop it in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer. The last way of getting into medical school out of the three is the most unreliable. In fact, I do not usually advise people to go for it, and I get asked this thing very, very often. It is transfer. Some people, when they try to get medicine and they can't, the school sometimes consider them, especially people that are very close, and give them another related course that is not medicine. So they always ask, should I take this course and transfer? Something about transfer is that it is not totally in your control. Now let me just tell you, it is possible, but it is not certain. What I generally advise students that seek my advice for that particular scenario is go for the lesser course, but don't put all your egg in the basket. Apply for another Jamb again. As you are running the program, the next Jamb, be preparing for the next Jamb. So as you are running your program, for example, you got maybe microbiology when you choose medicine, be running your microbiology in your first year, study for microbiology and prepare for the next Jamb simultaneously. So try to, one thing that will increase your chance of transferring to medicine in 200 level is you have to have a high GP. So you have to work a lot on your GP. And secondly, it also depends on your HOD. Like for example, your HOD might decide, even if you got like a perfect GP, if your HOD says you are not leaving, I'm not releasing you, then so be it. You are stuck in the department. So that, you see, it's not totally in your control. But if you, as you are trying to get a perfect GP in university, you are also preparing for Jamb. So if your HOD does not let you cross, for example, you already have Jamb too, but you have to start another 100 level again, which some people might consider a waste of money. But at least it's going to prevent you, if you don't want to stay at home, you could take the admission that way. And sometimes people eventually fall in love with the course they are given, even though that's not what they initially wanted. I don't know if this video has been in any way helpful. If it has been, like, that's my joy. And I really want you to gain admission into your medical school. I want you to study medicine if you are really willing to. And I want you to share your story with others too by the time you get. In fact, I want you to tell me when you get into medical school. I'm going to be very excited. I'll feel with you. So you can follow me on Instagram. I'm going to display it somewhere on the screen. Follow me on Instagram. We can talk during my free time. I believe that's all for this video. And subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Make sure you click the like button. I will see you in the next video. Bye.